Welcome to Dr. Jester Rants, and I'm gonna rant about this. From the Washington Post, albeit I'm only using it as an introduction, mostly because it's a rag. What else would you describe Washington Post? It's, well, let's just say that if they still do printed newspaper, they wouldn't even be worth using it as a toilet paper when you run out of toilet paper on a dirty gas station toilet. Generally, that's where you would go to when you need toilet paper. Either way, let's go and read it. Marjorie Taylor Greene blasted for attacking colleague's transgender daughter. Sickening, pathetic, unimaginably cruel. Oh my god. The humanity. Holy shit, I said man. The humanity. There you go, that shouldn't trigger people. But oh dear lord, somebody's deciding to go and mow the lawn right now. That's amazing. Don't these people realize I have work to do? My work is much more important than their work over there. Don't they realize I'm an important individual that needs love and acceptance and attention from my followers? And to get that attention from my followers, I need to actually slave myself in front of a camera? These people really trigger me. Alright. Let's see. After a contentious debate on the Equality Act, which would extensive rights protection to the alphabet community, Representative Marjorie Newman on Wednesday raised a transgender pride flag outside her office, which happens to sit directly across the office of Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, one of the bill's most vocal opponents. Well, let's give some context in here because we all know, Washington Post will not give you the context. Apparently, she raised the alphabet flag, well, in this case the T flag, was to actually provoke Marjorie Taylor Greene, in fact, to attack her, not as a way to support my daughter's egos. No. Don't you just love fake news? Aren't you glad that you're supporting this, Mr. Bezos? Well, it's Washington Post. They've stopped being a newspaper in over, 20 years? Give or take. A couple of years. They are now mostly just a commentator or a rag of absolute propaganda for the Democrat Army. Let's go and just circle here. Our neighbor, Greene, tried to block the Equality Act because she believes prohibiting discrimination against trans Americans is disgusting, immoral, and evil. I don't think that it's disgusting, immoral, or evil. Newman, who has a transgender daughter, wrote on Twitter with a video of her hanging the flag. Thought we'll put up our transgender... You know, this won't be a video of Dr. Jester without me doing my beautiful voices. Thought we'll put up a transgender flag so she can look at it every time she opens the door. Greene, who lost her committee memberships by promoting false and extremist claims, which is utterly and totally a bullshit, quickly responded with her own video mocking Newman's early tweet as she hung up a poster that said, "There are two genders, male and female, trust the science." And she is absolutely correct. There are only two genders, a male and female. When you're a transgender, even the word says it, transgender. It says transitioning to another gender. That means if you're a male, you're transitioning to a female. So male transgender. If you're a female transitioning to a male, you're a female transgender. That's how... No. It's reversed, sorry. Oops. Whoops-a-daisy. But you get what I'm talking about. You're a female to male, it's a male transgender, and if you're a male to female, you're a female transgender. There you go. Jesus Christ, I fumbled there. Don't blame me, I'm retarded. Wait for it to come out a few years from now. Somebody is going to misquote this video and will not give the context that came up a couple of seconds after what I just said. I gotta have to make a mental note of myself to ask the moron who is going to misquote me to actually quote the entire video, or at least the time or which video I did this. But obviously the moron will be unable to do so, and his followers and their simps, hopefully that word's still relevant in a couple of years from now, will then try to protect the filthy imbecile who misquoted me. Either way, let's go. Look, I get it. I support the transgender rights. You're absolutely correct. You can have the same rights, you can do the same things, but the problem here is, not only is it there is only two genders, but we are actually trying to infect and destroy the female sports. Why I say that? Here we go. First and foremost, having a birth defect or a genetic disease does not and will never ever make it another gender. A gender is, in fact, a synonym for sex, despite multiple attempts of multiple ignorant imbeciles from the control left, who are the vocal minority trying to bully dictionary definitions or dictionaries around the world to actually change the definition of the word. And in fact, it means male and female. There's nothing that will change that. Another information that you need to be aware of. Despite them saying, but there's multiple genders. No, the moment you try... Well, first and foremost, you actually have to prove that there are other genders. No, quoting shitty science journals will not prove that. In fact, what you have to do is prove that the mankind, the human species is capable of reproduction with a third gender or more, or that this gender is required for the species propagation. Well, in fact, if you do that, you're gonna get a Nobel Peace Prize or Nobel Science Prize or something like that, because that will be earth-shattering information. Something that is mind-boggling, because it's something that we have never seen in the entire mankind's history. And that would be earth-shattering indeed, because even I would be curious to know, because I always thought that all you had to do to reproduce as a human, despite in vitro fertilization or other things like that, modern technology, was just to shove your dick inside a vagina. Apparently, in the logic of these imbeciles, you actually need to shove your dick into something else, and then they'll use the vagina for other things, which will then try to reproduce the human species. I don't think that's how it works, if that's how you think it works. Another problem, which I like to make a mention, because it, suffice to say, there are only two genders, is in fact that the male body, despite going through multiple hormones to make you look like a woman, you still have an advantage over them. You're larger in most situations, in most cases. You have stronger bones in most situations and cases. You are larger, you have faster reflexes, your muscles are and will never stop existing. For instance, you're still gonna have this muscle connecting here on the hook of your skull. I don't know. Is it showing? No, it probably won't. But there's like a hook over here. If you're a woman watching this, and you put your fingers right at the edge of your skull, and your neck, you're not gonna feel anything. But if you're a male, you're gonna feel like a small little protuberance coming out of your skull. That means it's a male skull. In fact, no matter the amount of surgery you're going to do, those things are immutable. You can actually try to file that out, sand it down, like they do in most cases of plastic surgery, when they try to sand down this area here on your skull, when you're a male transitioning to a woman. You can actually try to sand it down and change. For instance, there's also a hook over here on our skulls. It's pretty large. It's usually on our mandibles to actually help us. For instance, there's nothing here for me to show it. Nothing. Either way, it's for us males, when we were hunting and doing other things, that's how we were evolved, to use it as a third hand. Our mouth uses it as a third hand. For instance, we could store all tools or other things in our mouths while our two hands were busy doing something else. That's why we evolved this, and you're not gonna find that on a female skull. That's how anthropologists and many scientists use as a way to quickly identify skeletons and bones and try to separate them when, for instance, it's on a pit they found with multiple people buried, and that usually happens when there is a genocide or things like that. For instance, like the Kosovo genocide, and there are multiple people inside a buried ground, a burial pit or something like that, and you can quickly separate the bones between male and female. Then after, you can actually use DNA, which will then show it to you male or female. Wonderful, isn't it? Ah, science. But here we are dealing with imbeciles. But there is not only that, there's also the fact that you're still gonna have large muscles. So, one way for you to actually take advantage of you, well, because, no, let's face it, you're a complete and utter total incompetent on male sports, but you still want to be a star. So your next solution is to be a fucking asshole. So you claim you're a womanixon, and then you go and join the female sports. Then you can slack off and do diddly squat and still win. Yay! Yes, that's how those imbeciles do. That's why Marjorie, sorry, wait, how do I pronounce it? Her name, let's see, I have Marjorie, there you go, Marjorie Taylor Greene is against, she's against that, she's against men ruining female sports. Despite looking like a woman, sure, go on ahead, but you still have the male advantage. The physical male advantage. No matter how many hormones you take, it won't change. And that's what even holy shit, Tulsi Gabbard, sorry I suck at names, is also against, and I'm in favor of those two women. And this is where it comes down to. These imbeciles here are trying to cancel her because she's doing factual. Here is what she did. Like, this is some sort of a crime. It is not! And in fact, not only is it free speech, but it's scientifically accurate. Here it is. There are two genders, male and female. Trust the science. I wanna marry a woman like that. She is awesome! And obviously, let's see. Here it is. Some, like Greene, have claimed that the bill would roll back protections for women by allowing transgender people to participate in sports and extending discrimination protections based on gender identity, rather than biological sex. Critics have panned these arguments as transphobic. You can claim it's transphobic as much as you want. It won't change the fact that not only it is not transphobic, but this is misogynistic. Because yes, this is in fact misogynistic. Holy fuck, I'm using the correct usage of the word. Because the moment you try to cram in a male into female sports, it's gonna be problematic. But not only that, there's also the fact that female women who gets battered or hit or even violently attacked by her husband, they also deserve to have their own shelter, despite males only having one shelter in the entire country. And there's actually, in fact, an almost the equal proportion of men getting assaulted by women, but that's discussion for another video. What I want to make clear here is the moment you shove in a male inside a battered female shattered shelter or something like that, you're gonna have a bit of an issue. Yes, some women who go in there are actually even afraid of men or something like that, and the last thing you want to do is have them go and suffer even more. Come on! Look how they finish this. Critics have banned this argument as transphobic. It roots on fringe political movement that has made some radical feminists and conservatives unlikely allies on the issue. Imbeciles. And obviously the person here seems to be paid by the word because it's a long-winded, nonsensical bullshit that she wrote, and nothing that actually shows why Marjorie Greene, sorry, not Marjorie, Marjorie Taylor Greene did this. She didn't do this because of some other nonsensical, it's because she was provoked to do, because the imbecile who actually rose this flag actually did it to provoke Marjorie Greene. But obviously, nothing will change. Because Democrats, they do not care about you. They only care about virtual signaling and this. And votes, obviously. Anyway, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because obviously YouTube has been trying to throttle me down, because only recently I got one more subscriber, when in fact I was trailing on for days, more than a week, with 119 subscribers. This means that YouTube has been throttling my the sharing of my videos. In fact, the ones that I did a test yesterday without sharing it anywhere else, and in fact you can actually see there's barely any views at all. That means that YouTube is doing something. Obviously, opinions like this, even though it's based on facts, it's not viewed nicely at all. Anyway, if you want more spicy content, head to minds.com/Dr. Jester. I'm still trying on Rumble, but Rumble is still shit, and I hate it. On that note, thank you for watching. Good night.